What is up, everyone? I'm Skratch. Welcome to the channel and welcome to another Dragonheir Silent Gods or Dragon Stride Legacy Reborn video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Guys, we are 3 days away from the relaunch. I'm definitely looking forward to see. Hopefully, we're going to have a smooth process. I do want to mention one thing about the server selection. You guys know it. You will have to select a server. Now, I will keep you guys posted on what server I'm joining with my main account. And I will most likely start a new account to join on a server with new players. With a lot of you guys that are starting new accounts and stuff. Because I won't be able to join a new server with my main account, right? But I will keep you guys posted. Hopefully, before the launch, I'll be able to kind of like give you guys information related to that. If not, literally the very first thing I'll be doing on the launch day will be dropping a video on that topic. In today's video, guys, we're actually going to go over the changes to the elemental affinities. So you guys know that we have 6 different elemental affinities in the game, right? We have poison, we have ice, we have fire, we have necrosis, we have lightning, and we have, of course, the radiance. Now, each one of these elemental affinities actually got a bit of a buff. We can definitely call this a buff because now pairing your team is actually going to be even more important because they will have some special effects, some bigger benefits than before. Now, because I am on the test server at the moment, guys, the actual client, the actual server will shut down for the regular game, I think today, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe tomorrow. I think it's today, actually. So you won't be able to play the game till the 17th. But I still have the test server available. Now, there are still some translation issues. Some of the descriptions are in Chinese. Unfortunately, I do not speak Chinese. But I'm going to do my best to basically pinpoint all of the changes, okay? So let's start with the frost element. We're going to bring in a couple of frost characters so we can actually see what's happening. So, for example, when frost reaches 5 stacks and deals damage, additionally inflicts frozen on the target. So, basically, this is the special effect that you are gaining from using 2 or 3 characters from the ice element. You're going to basically have a special effect once the frost reaches 5 stacks. Frozen, if I remember it correctly, it used to be like a crowd control debuff that used to freeze enemies. Maybe I'm off topic and I do not remember that correctly, but right now Frozen will actually reduce the attack speed and the recharge speed by 20%. Maybe it was always like this and I just do not remember it right. I've been playing too many games, right? But either way, Frost will actually deal max HP damage, which is really, really good because extra damage scaled with the Frost hero's attack. Now, that is definitely a new addition to Frost. Frost before used to be a debuff that used to enhance the damage for the Frost damage dealers, like Vitar, Oster, and tons of different ones, right? But now at 5 stacks, it will actually deal additional damage. Before, if I remember it correctly, you were able to stack it, but was doing pretty much nothing. So, if we're going to add a third Frost ally in the team, so right now we're going to fill it all in. It seems like we actually have... it's actually based on damage dealers and support. Okay, so that changes quite a few things. So if I'm going to try to quickly bring in, let me just see, Frost only. And we're going to bring in Losenia. She will apply Frost, which will trigger this one right here. So we have 3. Frozen lasts 5 seconds. And if we bring in 3 Frost damage dealers, Frozen lasts 5 seconds and inflicts Frozen for 5 seconds to one target when the battle starts. Which can be really, really helpful. I'm not sure exactly which target is going to be random, lowest HP, highest turn meter, basically, right? Because if that's the case, that would be really good for PvP. Anyway, Frost used to be one of the most powerful teams for PvP in most of the seasons, especially in Season 1. So I'm very positive that with all of the changes, it will be even better. Now, as you guys can probably notice, we have an additional layer upon it, to it. All allies gain a 30-second shield at the start of the battle if you're bringing in 2 supports. Now, if I'm bringing in 3 supports, I'm going to get a 15% max HP shield instead. So let's actually bring in another support in here. So he should be one of them. No, he's not actually. Okay, that's a bit odd. Maybe they change him. But he used to be kind of like... actually, no, he always used to be a tank damage dealer /, right? So that is not right. Let's see what else we have in here that could be support. Maybe him? No, he counts as a frost. He counts as a frost too. Maybe doesn't matter if he's part of the frost. Let's actually see all schools. And let's see if we're bringing in somebody that is not from their elemental affinity. Okay, so that works. Sweet. It's just about bringing in support characters. It doesn't even matter if they are from the same combo. Like in the first season, it's going to be Necro and Ice, right? As an elemental combination. And I just brought in a Radiance. As long as it's support, it seems like it will work. Which is actually really good news because you do not have to go in for the full 5 elemental affinity to get both of the bonuses. Now, later down the line, in the end game, it will be important to have a 5-man elemental affinity to make sure you have all this extra damage, etc. But while you're progressing, this is really not something that should be your main priority. So basically, let's actually quickly do a fight. I might not have gear on everybody, but that doesn't matter. I just want to see how the debuff stacks. So there we go. Vitar will activate it a bit as well. Proc them debuffs. Okay, there we go. So we have the Frost and Frozen on. Now, I'm curious to see how the stacks add up, because I'm not able to see if we have multiple stacks on enemies or we don't, right? So that is a bit odd. So we have the Frost, but I don't know if we have multiple stacks or not. Maybe the team is just not able to consistently keep multiple stacks on the team, because I have no accuracy on Losenia either. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to back out of here and I'm going to change the level difficulty. So then the accuracy won't necessarily be an issue anymore. So let's redeploy. And right here, we're going to change their level to level 1. So accuracy shouldn't be an issue anymore. Hopefully. I want to see the stacks, right? How many stacks we're getting in. Can we increase the stacks? What's the marker that shows us the stacks? Okay, so we are definitely bringing in stacks, but how many stacks we have, I have no freaking clue. I think it's pretty hard to see it. It will deal that 3% max HP damage when you reach the 5 stacks. But as it is right now, I find it pretty hard to notice it, right? I do have too much stuff going on in the team too, which is fine. It should somehow show a sign when we are bringing in multiple stacks, right? So let me just try a different thing. I'm going to put it on 1x speed and I'm going to take it off auto. And I'm just going to let them stack. So you take that off. Frost, Frozen, proc in there. Okay, so let's see now. Can we actually stack more or we cannot? I've seen that Radiance actually has a bit of a counter because the rally is different as well in terms of how it works. But yeah, I'm putting in a lot of Frost on them, so I'm expecting those stacks to be up and running. It's just not being displayed by the looks of it. Okay, so that's fine. This is still going to be meta for PvP, and this will be meta for AoE damage, right? So if we're talking about Goblin, probably Frost is still going to be one of the better options. If we're talking about content where you need to defeat waves of enemies, Frost is still going to be one of the stronger options in there, right? Poisons, they just do not tend to work very well versus those type of enemies. Radiance might not be doing as good as in the past in terms of damage and stuff, but we are going to have a quick look at that too. Now, if we are going to redeploy and change the elemental affinities, so we're going to take that out and we're going to go to Necro next. So let's bring in Summoners. So we're going to bring one, and as you guys can probably see, a powerful and dead summoned unit will appear on our side, with its attributes affected by current resonance level. The higher your level, the tankier the summon, basically, the Phoenix. And if you have 3 of them in here, so let me just bring in 3, this is going to be even more powerful. Summons a stronger Dark Flame Phoenix. Now, this could potentially be used to tank very, very well versus enemies. You can actually see the stats right here. It could potentially be our tank in the Grave of Venom. It could potentially be a tank in PvP. It could potentially be a tank even in Feymander and other content like that, even versus world bosses, etc., which is actually pretty damn crazy. So we have the passive, which summons a Dark Flame Phoenix from the Void Nest at the start of the battle. The Dark Flame Phoenix knocks up enemies in front upon arrival, inflicting stun for 3 seconds. Really good for control too. Then you have the next passive, gains 50% defense parry while dealing 50% attack necrotic damage per second to nearby enemies when the 3-hero summon bond is triggered. The damage parried is converted into healing for the ally with the lowest HP. This actually sounds really strong. Really, really strong, because you're gonna get healing, you're gonna get parry, you're gonna deal damage as well. Really good passive. Then performs an AoE attack that deals damage and inflicts silence. And the last one performs an AoE attack dealing damage to all enemies. When the 3-hero summon bond is triggered, it additionally inflicts blind. Crazy good freaking summon right here, guys. You're getting so much crowd control, tanking, and healing at the same time. So this is something that you will always want to get done by bringing in 3 Necro damage dealers, okay? Now, if we are going to bring in a different support to this party, I'm very curious to see if we're going to get shield or something else. All allies gain a shield at the start of the battle, yeah. So it seems like no matter what elemental affinity you're playing with, you are going to basically bring in a shield with support units, right? Which is nice. And right now we have the full 5-man elemental affinity. We have the shield as well. Now, most likely this is not going to be as super important in most of the content, because it's just a shield for 30 seconds. So if you have better options in terms of what teams you can build, maybe 4 damage dealers, you don't necessarily need to bring in a second support just to activate this shield, because as I've mentioned, it's nothing compared to this, okay? Which is a massive, massive difference. Good, let's move on to the next elemental affinity, and now we're gonna go on to wild. So let's see what they've changed right here. Let's bring my Bay Flora. I still don't have her, but hopefully one day. Let's bring a Caspar, and let's bring Rash in here too. Now, wild skill dice roll will recharge the exclusive skill. When recharge reaches 100, it can be released to grant burst to allies for 12 seconds. So that is actually really good. The more wild you're proccing, the more often you're going to recharge your exclusive skill, and basically it can be released to burst to allies, grant burst to allies. Now, what is burst doing? We actually gotta check what burst is doing, but it seems like I cannot do it from here. During burst, ally wild dice roll results +2. Actually, we can see it from here. During burst, ally wild dice rolls are guaranteed to be the max value if you have 3. My god, your wild characters are going to literally go freaking wild when you have 3 of them in the same team. If they're always proccing the highest roll on the dice, they will be doing so much damage, guys. So that is actually crazy, crazy good. Now, just because I do want to double check if it works exactly the same, yeah, it is still a shield. So far, the Necro and the Wild got a crazy, crazy boost with this elemental affinity bonus. Definitely the strongest ones, in my opinion, so far. The Ice one is nice too, but this one feels like pretty damn nasty. So let's go over to Dauntless. So Nashteshka, let's bring the free legendary as well. The Monkey King, we're gonna bring in Asura. So what do we have right here? Allied Dauntless heroes have a chance to guide the Thundercloud to perform coordinated attacks with each basic attack. Thundercloud's strength is enhanced by resonance level and coordination attack frequency. Thundercloud has a chance to perform a coordinated attack, and at 3 members, Thundercloud has a 50% chance to perform a coordinated attack. The good thing with Dauntless heroes, guys, is that most of their skills count as basic skills. So if we're talking about the third skill, charges with the axe and swings it 5 times, dealing damage, these attacks are counted as basic attacks. So you want to make sure you're bringing in characters that have this little text in their skills, so all of their skills count as basic attacks, but 99% of them, they do it anyway. So then you're going to have a much higher chance to proc the Thundercloud. The higher your resonance level, the better. So the Thundercloud wields a weapon of 3 capability levels. If it triggers multiple assistants in quick succession, its weapon temporarily upgrades to the next level. Sustain high frequency basic attacks to maintain Thundercloud's weapon enhancement. The more multi-hitters you have in your team, the better, because you're going to be able to trigger it faster, leveling it up, and basically doing more damage. And the second one, for every 10 assistants triggered by Thundercloud, releases a burst of electric arcs dealing lightning damage over a short period. So it sounds pretty good as well. Like, it's definitely going to be a massive boost in damage if it actually deals good damage. But by the looks of it, they really went all in basically creating something more interesting to ensure that we are paying more attention to what type of hero combos we do, right? And I actually like the idea. I love that they brought in something like that. Let's actually move on to the next elemental affinity. Come on, guys. Go back in there. I'm so used to just click on them rather than drag them back. If we go over to Rally, very curious to see what we have right here. So Rally got changed, guys. I will be doing videos on all of the elemental affinities to see kind of like what changed, how they perform. Now, I won't be able to test them in all of the content and all that, but don't you worry, because I will be dropping videos. Probably I'll be doing like a short video for each elemental affinity, or I'll try to do 3 videos with both of the elemental affinities combo, right? Kind of like see the difference. So, Radiance. At the start of the battle, all Rally allies gain 1 stack of Rally. You guys remember it. If you're new, basically Rally was enhancing the damage. It was like a buff that was being consumed by the Rally damage dealers, which was enhancing their damage or their skill capabilities. It seems like, in a way or another, it still works the same. Now, if you have 2 allies in the team, this effect will trigger every 30 seconds after. If you have 3 allies, this effect will trigger every 20 seconds after. Now, one problem that I have with this timing, unless they change Laurentil, basically, he has this passive that will give you, or it was the ultimate skill, I'm not even sure anymore what it was. Yeah. When allies consume Rally through ultimate skills within the domain, recharges their ultimate energy by 25%, which means that if your skill is on a cooldown of 20 seconds, every time you're going to be able to decrease this down to 15 seconds, down to 15 seconds. So because of it, waiting to use the skill again at 20 seconds is not that great, but it really depends if the buff, the Rally buff, actually expires now or it doesn't. Because one thing that I've noticed with Huberg, for example, and all the Rally characters, they have a new thing integrated in their skill set. Increase the energy orb damage by 20%. Casts this skill once more. Summons 1 additional energy orb. So when they have 1 stack of Rally, he does this. When he has 2 stacks of Rally, he does this. And when he has 3 stacks of Rally, he does this, or all of them together. Now, we are going to test everything. We're going to pay attention to it. We're going to see exactly what happens, how they work, and all that. Curious if this is a buff or is a nerf. Before, he did not have that part in the skill, just this. And he was doing crazy good damage. Same with him, and same with Filto, for example. Like, they were both just doing crazy stuff. Like, Filto was almost one-shotting pretty much most of the bosses in the game with the right setup. Not easy to obtain or anything like that, but he was able to do it. So I'm very curious to see if that's still something that the rally team can pull off. But basically, that's what the rally characters get. And in a way, it's good that they're getting that, because it's easier for us to build a rally team without having to purely rely on buffers. Because, hey, you are getting the buff from there. And moving on to the last one, we already checked the summoners. We're going to go to poisons. I've never really been a big fan of poisons in Season 1. I've been a fan of poisons in Season 3 when Rook got introduced and corrosion and all that. But in general, before, the main thing is you need low tier to really get things popping, right? As I've mentioned, I've never really been a big fan. Now, Corrin used to be the GOAT as well as an epic champion, because he was actually enabling the rest of them to do crazy things with the skill, you know? Refreshes the duration of poison on an enemy up to 30 stacks. I do not think that we had a cap on it, or if we did, I do not remember what that cap was, but was definitely not 30 stacks, because 30 stacks sounds little. Of course, talents and everything else should impact all of these elemental affinities, not just poisons. As we've seen in the previous video, they have some crazy talents. So I'm going to have to do a bit of more digging to see exactly what this could potentially do. But if we are quickly going to pay attention to this. When the poison debuff is triggered, a poison pool forms under the target of the poison explosion, continuously dealing poison damage to nearby enemies. So basically, we're going to have 30% chance to activate it, or a 60% chance to activate it with 3 poisoners. The poison deals derivative damage. You need to have high enlightenment attack to basically get the most out of poisoners. One of the cons with poisoners in the past, it was that you needed to get in a lot of stats on them. You needed to have enlightenment, attack, accuracy, survivability, and was much harder to build. They were much harder to build comparing them with the other elemental affinities. So either way, guys, this is what we have in terms of changes to the elemental affinities combinations. I like it that they've done it for each damage architecture individually, and then you have the support one, which combines all of the characters in the game as long as they are support type, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I will be dropping a video with a tier list, most likely on the release day, not before that. I'll see if I drop it the day before. I'll have a think about it. I will finish it today. A lot of freaking work with it, but I'm almost done, which is actually such a freaking relief. We have 180 plus characters in the game right now, so quite a lot of characters. Either way, appreciate all of you guys watching. If you want to keep up to date with daily news content and everything else related to Dragonheir Silent Gods, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, because this will be your primary freaking hub for this game. Much love, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.